Hey everybody, it's Decap here, and welcome to This Week in WoW for the week of February 20th. As per usual, we'll get started with the Mythic Plus affixes for the week. This week we have Fortified, Entangling, and Bolstering. Again, that's Fortified, Entangling, and Bolstering. Pretty easy week once again here. Fortified Bolstering is always going to slow you down for sure. But if you're just doing weekly keys, just filling up vault, that kind of stuff, it's not going to be too difficult for you. And if you're pushing keys, you will have to be mindful of the bolstering for sure. Again, I've mentioned this multiple times now. This season, we have a lot of really big pulls this season, which is really, really good and really, really fun. But with the bolstering, what's going to happen is some of those ads are going to get so big that they're going to one-shot your tank, and you're just going to have to kind of be okay with that if you do those really big pulls. Especially if you can still complete the pull by like kiting out the mob or whatever, and letting the bolstering fall off of it. It shouldn't be too big of an issue, at least in my experience. It does slow you down though, and if you're doing those really high pushing keys, it becomes more of an issue, obviously, if you have some deaths there when it comes to timing the key and stuff like that. But just for general players, not too bad. You can have a death or two on a giant pull, and as long as you complete the giant pull, it's not a big deal whatsoever. So let's go ahead and talk about what's going on in the game this week. It's going to be a bit of a small session on what's going on in the game because we do not have a lot. Love is in the Air has ended. Lunar Festival has ended. This week we have the timewalking dungeon event for I believe Mists of Pandaria. Mists of Pandaria timewalking dungeon event to take part in, which is pretty cool. You can definitely do that and have fun doing that. We do have the March of the Hippogriff thing. Now, I've mentioned this before. I actually did go do this one. For house, these one-day holidays, they're pretty bad. I'm not going to lie, right? They're kind of meant to be like little RP things and stuff like that, which I think is actually really good for the game. But I think all of them could be just advanced out a little bit better. And I've said it before, ironically, this little one-day thing, this is one of the better ones that's a one-day thing. But it's still nothing great or anything like that. But I did go do it once, and it was more than I expected. I'll say that. It's not something I'm ever going to do again unless they advance it out or whatever, though. And then other than that, there is no big news this week. I was waiting for news. I thought, it was Monday. A lot of times some updates, some nerfs to bosses, a little bit of tuning. There's been absolutely nothing, which I was a little bit disappointed about, especially after last week's video. I really actually thought this week we would have stuff like that. Unfortunately, that's not the case. So we have no big news yet. Of course, that could happen this week, and nothing like that. Probably a couple months away from War Within Alpha. At the very least, War Within Alpha announcement will be pretty soon here, within a month or two for sure. So definitely excited for that, but just no big news has come out whatsoever. Nothing, no breadcrumbs. We do have 10.2.6 coming out next month. So we will get an exact date on that. I don't think they gave the exact date. I think they just said March. So we'll get an exact date on that, and that'll be pretty cool. But yeah, other than that, there's been no real big news. We did have the MDI this past weekend going on, which I watched a bit of. I got to see a Rep Paladin, a person, not a main Rep Paladin, but someone play Rep Paladin for Echo's group in a 4 DPS comp, no healer. Because Ret is very survivable and also can off heal and stuff like that. And it shows Ret's strengths, although at least I didn't watch all the matches. At least in the ones I watched, the Ret did not win, but they were in the matches. And it was cool to see that a little bit of representation, even if it was extremely niche. And at least again in the matches that I watched, not very effective, but effective as far as winning and losing. I thought the player did fine, but just as far as winning and losing goes. So that was cool, and we did have that. Been playing a lot of Season of Discovery. Not a lot, but I did get up to level 40 to max level. I do want to do the No Morgan raid at least once or twice, or something like that. And I've been trying to have fun. For me, it's not the best gameplay for me personally. Classic for me, just man, some of the stuff just does not hit like it used to when I was younger, I will say. So it's never something that I would play constantly or anything like that. But, I'll log on, play here and there for that. But I did have fun leveling up to 40 and stuff like that. So, that part of it's pretty fun. Yeah. And other than that, I as far as the main game goes, I've actually been playing a little bit, trying to like grind some stuff that I still don't have, old mounts, farm some stuff, make a little bit of gold here and there. This is stuff I kind of do when I'm still kind of like itching to play WoW, but I don't have a lot of stuff to actually do. And then I was also thinking about maybe even pushing some keys or something like that. Seeing the rep paladin in the MDI made me think, maybe I should do some more keys or whatever. My biggest thing is just finding groups and finding good groups and stuff like that. Kind of bogs me down. Sitting in a group finder for 20 minutes or 30 minutes or something like that really makes me rather do literally anything else, honestly. So that's kind of the downside of it. And if it happens again, and if I'm sitting there waiting for 20-30 minutes, I'm going to lose any want that I have to try to do that. But if I go to do it and I'm getting invited into groups at a fairly quick rate, comparatively to 20-30 minutes, so like 10 minutes, it won't feel quite as bad. But I have been itching a little bit to do that at least since watching that in the MDI or whatever. Trying to think if there's any other news. Not really. This is a really short news week. Really nothing going on in particular. I'm just trying to think. Nothing that I haven't already mentioned. Solo self-found for hardcore, but I've already mentioned that last week, I believe. And yeah, so really nothing big. We're kind of just waiting for 10.2.6 right now and seeing what's going to come from there. What's going to happen with the final season with the the reworks, the season, I can't remember what it's called anymore from last expansion, the season where they just reuse the raids and stuff like that. Seeing what they're going to do, if they're going to do anything interesting this time with that, and stuff like that. So yeah, unfortunately a bit of a short video, not a ton going on, but it is what it is. As always, I do ask you to please subscribe to the channel because that helps me out a lot, at least. And other than that, everybody have a good one.